You decided you didn't have time to write it yourself, but you gave it the job to your sister.
Correct. Well, I'm pretty honest about what I can do, and I'm not a good writer. I don't have the patience for it, and I don't see myself
good
as a
talker,
writer.
though.
Good talker, yeah. You can't shut me up. So, and also, to be honest with you, I'm really happy with what I'm doing. I'm comfortable, and I wanted to pass it on to somebody else. And my sister, who is a journalist and also a professor of English literature at a college in Wisconsin, she's perfect, and who knows me better but my sister? So I asked them if that was the first thing they said. We'd like you to write this book. I said, if you want me to do it, my sister writes it, no questions.
But how is it telling your sister everything? Does your sister know everything?
My sister now jokes that she has a gay man living in her head. And everything she said, it's actually quite a good thing, because when you go out and do stuff, this other voice says, no, do it this way. And she has a little bit more flair now. But no, I'm not embarrassed about talking about stuff to my family or my sister, but sometimes I would say things and she'd just go, ew, and there was quite a few ew moments, and then she had to put away the sister head and bring out the writer head.
Well, she's here right now. Come on in.
Oh, no.
Come on in. Yes, she is. Carol, lovely to see you.
You get to answer truthfully.
It's very nice to meet you.
Fern and Eamon.
Nice to meet you.
So you found yourself talking to your brother for 3 months or something.
Yes.
And
yes.
were these EU moments were what?
Well, some of them were.
Remember, it's morning television and there's kids watching.
Yeah, those ones actually I channeled my mother. And so then I would have mum in my head at that time, and then I would say,
"Oh, you've
just
become all
gone
Scottish."
Now, see, we can't talk to each other with that.
Yeah.
We don't speak to each other as Americans.
We can only talk to each other in Scottish. Sorry, I forgot about that, and we didn't. Since he didn't know I was going to be on here, I didn't say we have to switch accents. Sorry.
Bizarre. So that's not an ew moment. That's a schizophrenic moment.
All right. Well, we'll come back to that in a minute.
Yes.
But the moments where you go ooh and you've got your mother in your head.
Yeah. Then I would say, okay, our mom's going to read this, so I will edit a little. I took out a few bad words.
Yeah. Carol's mother-in-law actually sent an email last night. She said, I finished the book. Now, nothing bothered her, the romance, the little things that happened in a swimming pool or all that kind of stuff.
Little thing up a tree.
Yeah, up a tree.
Yeah, none of that bothered.
None of that bothered her. She said there were too many words starting, but there was too many words starting with F.
Yes, so, yeah. But she's 75.
Food, finish.
Yeah.
Flirt.
Frolic, yeah.
Food is an issue because both of you would get in the car, and when you were travelling, I guess, up and down to Cardiff.
I called him one day when he was on the set on Torchwood, and because John recorded all the stories as we talked, and I recorded them on my iPod. And one day at home, when I was listening to John in my head and I was typing up the story, all I could hear was the two of us opening crisp packets and sweeties, because we stop at Marks and Spencer's when we go from Cardiff to London. And so we're in his car.
We didn't need to do any work. We just ate.
Tell me that story.
You have got the same genes, don't they? She doesn't stop talking about it, which is a good thing.
No, so we're listening on these stories, and all I can hear is him open
Percy Pigs.
Yes.
He would open Percy Pigs, and I'd eat Maltesers, and I don't know what the story was he was telling me, because
we have all those recordings, so we kept them, and maybe one day
were they in American or Scottish?
They were in Scottish.
They're all in Scottish.
Now, do you regard yourselves as American? You left at what? Now, you were 9.
Yeah.
You were a bit older when you took off to
little
just
bit
a little bit
older.
older.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Because you're born and bred in Glasgow.
Yeah. I consider because I've been here. I consider myself to be British, and I was I am an American citizen. My family lives in America, but my family is here in the UK, and that's my partner Scott and our dogs. And this is my home. So it's kind of a weird thing, because the hardest part for me is being away from my immediate family, my sister, my mom, my dad, my brother, and all that. I find that is the most difficult. But you know what? You make sacrifices in
But
this
this
life.
speech thing is bi-dialectical or something you call it, don't you?
That was our word. We made that word up.
It's a
We
good
decided
word.
We liked it. Yeah.
So that when you're together, you only speak Scottish with a Scottish accent.
He and I mostly together talk. It's really weird. Talk Scottish.
I'm going to do it now. When I'm with my mum and dad, or Carol, or my brother Andrew, we speak in a Scottish accent. When I'm with people who don't know us, it's explained in the book. It's a defense mechanism. When I was a kid, young kids made fun of my Scottish accent, and like any young kid out there, we don't like to be bullied. And you know what? The bully's the bad person. You're all right. And I try to beat them at their games. So the way I tried to beat them, I learned to speak like they did, so they couldn't make fun of me. And it's stuck with me. So people who don't know me Scottish.
I mean, in fairness, from flicking through the book, even your own family didn't like you when you were young.
Yeah.
In
was
fairness, if
truly
anybody
annoying.
was to give you the term crybaby, it would have to stick, wouldn't it?
I never shut up. My mom and dad went to the doctor and said, we can't get him to sleep. What do we do? They tried to get my brother and sister to take me out for walks, and they would refuse after a while because everyone was just tired of it. So my dad came out one day, and he had wrapped me in paper. And
to give you away, to post you?
No, to put me in the bin.
He was putting him in the bin.
He was putting me in the bin, and my mother gave this performance because usually my mom would falter, and then my sister said that they know that it was a joke, but my mother gave this Joan Crawford stalwart performance.
And she had a tag already made with his name on it, John Scott Barrowman, to go right on the bag.
And they put me in the bin outside. And then they freaked out, my dad, and it was one of those stories. It's a family history story, but they actually, my parents, let me say this on television, my mom and dad, my parents actually put me in the bin.
Yeah.
It explains so much, doesn't it?
A load of rubbish.
The other thing they used to do that isn't in the book, I just remembered this because
save that for the next book.
Oh, all right.
No, go on, tell me.
Sometimes if my parents had a party, they would send me as the big sister upstairs to put him to bed at night.
Yes.
This is the only way I could get him to go to sleep was go like
Rubbing
this.
my ears.
Rub in his ear.
Does that still work?
Yeah.
He'll be snoring.
This is a major family problem, isn't it?
Anyway,
There is a series.
Tell those things on national television. That is an ew moment.
There'll be a baby care series on Channel 4 as a result of this.
You've got so much. You didn't really hit the British consciousness until about 3 or 4 years ago, really.
Yeah, but I mean, I had a theatre career to begin with,
Yes.
and that's a very limited audience,
Yes.
but a very good audience. But it was Doctor Who that literally put me on. And funny enough, Doctor Who and Dancing on Ice really put me on the map. So thank you to both channels for that. But it changed my life. It made me a household name. Both shows, and it was spectacular, and I love it. I just love it.
Carole, could you tell us why? Because as soon as you mention this guy's name, people go, "Oh, I love him. I like him." Why do you think, having spent 3 months eating Maltesers in the car with him and Percy Pigs, why do people relate to him? Why do they like him?
I think what you see is what you get. He's just real natural. And
Is he ever down? I only ever meet him when he's way up.
Well, I mean, we all have our moments, but no, he's really pretty upbeat, and he's a great uncle to have for that reason. For my kids, because he's always pretty upbeat. But
I do have my down moments.
Oh, yeah,
like everybody, we do get down, and I do get depressed. But it's one of those things. If you get depressed and you feel down, I look at it. And I say to Scott, Scott knows this, if I wake up one morning, if I don't want to get out of bed, you don't want to do something, I allow myself that day to get over it, to have that moment of down, and you can feel sorry for yourself, but then you've done it. That's it. Get up, move on, push yourself forward, and that's the way I get.
That's the
kind of
thought
But he
for
had
today.
a great big sister.
for people who can.
He had a great
That's
big
correct.
sister.
A great big sister.
John,
Very good, John, lovely.
thank
We
you.
haven't
Lovely
even got
talking
to. There's
you.
an album, there's a tour, there'll have to be another interview at another time.
Yeah.
But good luck with everything,
Thank you
and
very
also
much.
the search for Nancy and
That's right,
Oliver.
Nancy and Oliver coming up.
Well, look,
Fantastic.
if you're
Thank you,
having
John.
a down day today,